Julia, it's me. I need you to call me back. Please, Julia. It's important. In the last days before her death, Nell Abbott called her sister. Jules didn't pick up the phone, ignoring her plea for help. Now Nell is dead. They say she jumped. And Jules has been dragged back to the one place she hoped she had escaped for good, to care for the teenage girl her sister left behind. But Jules is afraid, so afraid, of her long-buried memories of the old mill house, of knowing that Nell would never have jumped. And most of all, she's afraid of the water and the place they call the drowning pool. Yes, I am very excited to be talking about Into the Water, which is Paula Hawkins' latest book. Now, for those of you who don't know, Paula was born and brought up in Harare, Zimbabwe, so yeah, she is one of us. Now, Paula had the hit book of 2015, as I'm sure you all know. I'm talking worldwide success with The Girl on the Train. So do read it. I've read it several times, and actually I've enjoyed it more each time I've read it. Because I think there's something people don't necessarily get. They just think, oh, bestseller, schlock. Actually, no. Paula Hawkins is a very fine writer. But I would suggest that you watch the movie before you read the book, because I basically needed trauma counseling after I watched the movie and found out that they'd changed the setting from the UK to the US. Now, for those of you who think that Paula has led a cushy life and was an overnight success, no. She was actually writing chick lit under the name Amy Silver. Her fourth book bombed. I think she had to borrow money from her dad or something, was in a complete state. And then she had the huge success with The Girl on the Train. So, yeah, she has known the same sort of rejection and anxiety that all of us have known. And I find that such an interesting thing. You know, people with, love to talk about overnight success, but most of the successful people I know have sort of taken about 10 to 15 years to have their overnight success. So I think persistence is key. Paula's also spoken about the weight of expectation when you've had such a big hit and everyone's clamoring for your next book. Well, I think she can relax. I thought this book, Into the Water, I thought it was wonderful, a complete page turner, but also a very intelligent and complex read. In fact, there was just so much about this book that I could relate to. I knew the characters she was talking about. I loved the spookiness of the drowning pool where troublesome women get sorted out. I could relate to the chubby younger sister Jules because I am a chubby younger sister. The hypermasculinity of Patrick. God, how many Patricks do we know? The bits of magical realism with Nikki, who doesn't necessarily see dead people, but she certainly hears them. I even kept my chipped blue nail polish on in honor of Nell. Hope you're impressed. But yeah, okay, enough about me blabbing on. The moment we've all been waiting for, I asked Paula a few questions and she was kind enough to send me this insert.
Hi, I'm Paula Hawkins. I'm the author of The Girl on the Train, and my new novel, Into the Water, is out in May. And I'm here on the blog to talk about books. And your first question is where I grew up. I'm from Zimbabwe originally. I grew up in Harare. I lived there until I was 17. I went to school at Groombridge, was my primary school, and then Arundel was my secondary school. And I have very lovely memories of it. Your second question is my favourite African author, and this is really difficult. I have many, but I'm going to pick someone whose books I've really loved recently, and she's also a Zimbabwean author. Her name is Patina Gappa. And she's written 2 collections of short stories, An Elegy for Easterly and Rotten Row, and a novel called The Book of Memory. And she's fantastic and funny and clever and brilliant. And she really skewers all the ridiculousness of life in the sort of tragi-comic situation that Zimbabwe is in at the moment. So she's great. Go and buy her books. Your third question is it important for people to read fiction? And I do believe it is incredibly important to read fiction. I think in the situation in which we find ourselves now, where the world is a terrible place, fiction is a great escape. So there's that. But I also think that fiction teaches us empathy fiction is a way of getting to know people who aren't like you, people whose lives aren't like yours, and getting to understand them. So I think fiction is essential. And finally, what do I miss about Africa? And this is going to sound like a really weird answer for someone who lives in England, but I miss the rain. I miss proper tropical thunderstorms, good earth-quenching African rain. So there you go. Thanks very much. Bye.
How fabulous is she? Thank you so much to my lovely work husband, Reno Posthumous, for setting that up. I really do appreciate it. Tragically, I haven't read any of Patina Gappa's books, but I will remedy that. But I do have a few other Zim authors that I would like to recommend. One of my absolute faves, We Need New Names, which of course is another award-winning book. Cannot recommend that enough. Non-fiction, Dinner with Mugabe by the late Heidi Holland gives you such great insight, I think, to the Zimbabwean situation. The Polygamist by my lovely friend Sue Nyati. I need to get a hard copy of your book, Sue. And then I went to a lovely book launch. I haven't read these books, but I believe they are fabulous. This is the first in the series, Sabunda and the Rainbird. I nearly said the Sunbird. C.M. Eliot, aka Scotty. They're in the style, I think, of Alexander McCall Smith, and apparently they are wonderful. So yes, I recommend that as well. And now to play us out, the teen and the daughter, with a special song for you, Paula. Of course, when I asked them to do it, I got the eye roll and the sigh. And then when I mentioned it was Paula Hawkins, the attitude changed dramatically. Paula Hawkins? But she's famous. She wrote The Girl of the Train on the Train. That's a movie. Does she know Emily Blunt? And then suddenly they were happy to do it. So there you go. Enjoy, and don't forget to read essay.